So here's the thing, have you ever wondered if an anglerfish has to change out dead light bulbs like we do? Can it even dim them or switch off the bulb? And if they burn out, how would it replace them? I mean, it's not as if it could go to an underwater Home Depot and, yes, I did use AI to create this picture. So here is a fully lit mini dock on the light bulb, aka esca, of anglerfish. Okay, when I say the glowing bulb at the end of the anglerfish's rod is a light bulb, it's a bit of a liberty. But it is more or less a bulb, and it does glow, even if not plugged in. So how does it work? And full disclosure, no one has ever filmed a deep-sea anglerfish's lure glowing clearly in the wild. We know it shines, but we've never seen it shine. Those lovely people from Pixar
Hey, come back.
and the scientists are just assuming it does. So, by the way, this leads me to something that gets me in hot water, using AI and other reconstruction to show things we can't or haven't filmed. On Induna, I'll always try to point out what's real and what's imagined if it isn't obvious. It's labelled reconstruction, which means based on real images or science, or AI if fully AI. And when I say no one has ever filmed glowing, it means all the images you've ever seen of the anglerfish lures, like this one from Blue Planet,
A deep-sea anglerfish flashes in the darkness.
have glow added to the picture. And it's only here on Induna that it's now honestly revealed. I did a whole video on the use of AI in deep-sea nature films if you want to explore more, and the link's up top. So, like a star behind a cloud, we know the lure, or esca, glows, but it's difficult to see because we've either got very bright lights on it to drown it out, or it's just an anonymous dim blue dot in the abyss that we can't tell where it comes from. But scientists have revealed the quiet machinery of this deep-sea anglerfish light. It's a curious discovery, but one that has its own surprising light bulb moments. There's lots of ins and outs, but let's not tease the secret too long. The light comes from bacteria, actual living bacteria, inside the so-called esca, which is the name for that kind of bulb. And inside is a little chamber full of microbes, bacteria that have evolved in an uncanny way with the anglerfish and are not that dissimilar in their glow to fireflies. The esca is not just a blob, it's a finely engineered structure. Each species has its own design. Some have translucent filters, and others have ducts and pores, while some have internal chambers that shape the glow. Some have tiny channels that could let bacteria in during development. It's like every anglerfish species has its own custom light fixture designed by a deep-sea interior decorator who's had too much coffee. And at a microscopic level, the esca gets even more intricate, with fine structures that seem tailored to house, feed, and manage the bacteria. Now, do the bacteria burn out? Do they die? Do they need replacing? Here's the weird bit. We don't actually know how the bacteria get into the esca in the first place. There are two main possibilities. Environmental pickup, where some species have pores or ducts that could allow bacteria from the water to enter the esca, and other bacteria that don't glow wouldn't be able to get in. And of course, not all marine bacteria glow. Only a few species do, mostly vibrio and photobacterium. So the bulb's fine structure may act like a filter, letting in the right bacteria and excluding the wrong ones. It's like a nightclub with a very strict bouncer. The second possibility is inheritance. Other species have more sealed esca structures, suggesting the bacteria might be passed from mother to offspring, smeared onto the eggs perhaps, or acquired during a brief early life window. This is the so-called sourdough starter model of symbiosis. Either way, the result is the same. The fish always ends up with the correct glowing bacteria. And we're not talking about a handful, we're talking millions of bacteria living inside a tiny glowing apartment. In fact, they can't glow unless there's enough of them because they trigger each other off with something called quorum sensing. And there's a lot we don't know about them. They get a living from the anglerfish, but there may be more to it. Perhaps it's a way that they can transmit themselves to other generations of anglerfish. Whatever the answer, we know this partnership is ancient. We know that because the bacteria themselves have changed. A recent study showed that anglerfish symbiont have reduced genomes. They've lost the genes they no longer need because the fish provides everything: food, oxygen, protection, a stable home. They've become so specialised that they can barely survive outside the esca anymore. They're basically tiny glowing tenants who've forgotten how to pay rent. So, how did this partnership start? Probably the same way most weird evolutionary partnerships start. One day, millions of years ago, a fish accidentally caught a glowing bacterium. Maybe the bacteria colonized the gland, and maybe it got stuck in a mucus pit. Maybe they drifted into a wound. The glow attracted prey, and the fish with the glow caught more food. Natural selection said, "Yep, more of that." Over millions of years, the pit became the esca, the bulb, the rod became the elysium, and the bacteria became domesticated. And the whole system became a biological fishing law. Evolution's messy, but occasionally it produces something brilliant, quite literally so in this case, like a fish with a built-in glow stick. So, I know you've been dying to ask this, but can anglerfish switch their lights off? Yes, sort of, but not with a switch. There's no dimmer knob, no clapper, no Alexa integration. What they can do is control the oxygen supply to the bacteria, cut the oxygen and the bacteria dim, restore it and they brighten. It's like mood lighting, but for murder. And the fish has another trick for dimming the glow. Melanophores, tiny pigment cells in the esca that can expand like blackout curtains. And when they spread out, they literally shade the bacteria, reducing the glow even further. Between throttling the oxygen and pulling the pigment curtains, an anglerfish can fade its lure from barely there to you'd miss it unless you were plankton. And here's a bonus twist. Some anglerfish species have what's called green fluorescent pigment in the esca. It takes the blue bacterial light and shifts it towards the green. But it's probably doing it so that it can tune the lure into the exact spectrum that the prey find most attractive. So if we just think for a moment what's going on here, this is an organ that is fostering bacteria. Normally a body would start to reject them. They'd start to be eaten by the white blood cells, as the glowing bacteria might be recognised as something foreign to the body. So somehow the esca has evolved to be an immune-tolerant organ. And a recent study shows that anglerfish, deep-sea ones, have a very odd immune system in order to tolerate the fusion of the males attached to the females, which would normally be rejected. What's more, the fish is actively feeding the bacteria to keep the lamp on, paying an energy bill for its illumination. So, how bright is the esca, the bulb, really? You might have seen in films like Nemo that it's incredibly bright. It glows like it blinds you. But that's not true. The esca is dim, really dim. Think a glow stick from a country fair that's been sitting in your car for 5 days. The world's saddest nightlight. Battery-powered Christmas LEDs, which you found in August in a drawer. Your phone screen on minimum brightness is a lighthouse compared to this thing. The glowing anglerfish you see in movies is way too bright than the real thing. If an anglerfish glowed like that in real life, every predator within 100 meters would see it. It would be like walking around the deep sea with a headlamp set to "Please eat me." Which means that filmmakers like me have been practicing a kind of hyperbole to make the glow obvious, when in actual fact it's only obvious to little shrimps in the deep. So none of this fuss and complicated lore system would be any use if it didn't work. And it does work. Anglerfish can take enormous meals with their expandable mouths, and they get full to bursting like a balloon. So, at that point, do they need their light? Do they go even dimmer? Do they try and switch it out when they don't need it? The consensus is, although they perhaps can't switch it off completely, they certainly do dim it even further. A deep-sea anglerfish that's just swallowed a prey item half its own size is distended, slow and metabolically overloaded, and temporarily unable to hunt again. And in that state, glowing is wasted energy and unnecessary, and basically a neon sign saying, "Free snack here." So it dials the brightness down to 1, reducing the blood flow to the bulb or esca, lowering the oxygen supply, and letting the glow fade to a faint ember. Not off, it could probably only do that by killing the bacteria, but barely on. It's the deep sea equivalent of turning your porch light off after dinner because you're not expecting visitors. So let's talk energy efficiency. On light bulbs today you'll see those little markings which tell you what it is, A+ to E and F. Well, if we're rating the anglerfish's bulb for energy efficiency, it's basically A++, ultra eco hyper efficient. The bacteria do all the work. The fish just feeds them nutrients. It's like having a lamp that runs on compost. If we compare that to human lighting, LEDs are quite efficient, glow sticks are wasteful, and incandescent bulbs are tiny electric heaters pretending to be lights. But the anglerfish, it's running a biological light source that costs almost nothing. Your electricity bill would be a polite suggestion rather than a threat. So back to the big beautiful question. Do anglerfish change their light bulbs? No, they can't. They don't. They don't have any hands, no tools, and no customer service hotline for faulty bacteria. But here's the twist. They don't need to. The bacteria replace themselves, maintain themselves, glow continuously, and live inside a protected chamber. It's the ultimate self-maintaining light source. The fish doesn't change the bulb changes itself. If only my kitchen lights worked like that. So no, anglerfish don't change their light bulbs. They grow them, feed them, dim them, colour shift them, and weaponize them. But they never replace them. I'm John Riven and I love the ocean, and I've worked on many films, including the BBC's Blue Planet series. So if you've enjoyed this, we can continue the discussion in the comments below, and do let me know what other ocean mysteries you'd like me to ruin with science.